come and provide a moment of reflection.
Good afternoon, President Gross. Oh, he's not here. Good afternoon, Dr. Mills, commissioners, and Mayor Dyer is also not present, and Clint. My name is Terry Torrens. I am your Legislative Affairs Representative here at OUC, and I'm going to lead you in a moment of reflection. August brings us to the end of summer. As we see soaring temperatures throughout the United States, it reminds us what a precious commodity clean water is. It is fitting then that August is National Water Quality Month. August is also National Immunization Month, which suitably coincides with kids starting back to school. We must all remember to keep safety a top priority, to drive carefully, looking out for children as they stand at their bus stops and walk to and from school. This is the time that I look forward to all of the social media posts of kids returning to school. It reminds me of teachers meeting their classes for the first time and all the hopes and dreams of making the world a better place. I'm reminded of a simpler time when you see life through the eyes of a child not carrying the weight of the world. I am instantly lifted up when I see the sweet face of a child. Those years go by so fast when you're the parent and so slow when you're the child, wanting all the freedoms that come with adulthood. As we go about OUC's business today, remember that what we all learned in kindergarten: share everything, play fair, don't hit people, put things back where you found them, clean up your own mess, don't take things that aren't yours, say you're sorry when you hurt somebody, wash your hands before you eat, flush, warm cookies and cold milk are good for you, and live a balanced life. Learn some and think some, and draw and paint and sing and dance, and play and work every day some, and take a nap every afternoon, putting that on the agenda. When you go out into the world, watch out for traffic, hold hands, stick together, and be aware of wonder. Have a good day.
Thank you. Our Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to invite Ron Nelson to come forward and lead. I need you to hear this. Ron served in the U.S. Navy for 6 years, achieving the rank of E4 Petty Officer. Then he served in the Alabama National Guard for 3 years, achieving the rank of E7 Staff Sergeant. And then he served in the U.S. Army for 4 years, achieving the rank of 01 Second Lieutenant. And he has worked at OUC now for 5 years and 11 months. His current title is Director of Customer Service. Ron.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron, so much for your service. All right. It is now 2:03, and I call the August 9th, 2022 Commission meeting to order. I'd like to acknowledge we have a quorum present this afternoon, and President Gross will be participating. She's online right now by phone. So thus, in my role as Vice President, I will preside over the public meeting. Our next item on the agenda then is the July 12th, 2022 Budget Workshop Minutes. I will entertain a motion to waive the reading of the Budget Workshop Minutes and adopt them as published.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Calvert, as well as a second from Commissioner Lee. There are no opposed. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Oh, thank you. Scared me there for a minute. Opposed? There's no opposed. The motion passes. Thank you so much. Our next item on the agenda is a consideration of July 12, 2022 Commission meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and adopt them as published.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion of approval from Commissioner Lee and a second from Commissioner Calvert. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Wade Gillingham, would you please come now and provide us with the service award?
Thank you. Can I ask Lana Vaughn to come up? I promised I wouldn't embarrass her. Promise. Yeah. So, yeah, started off so Lana joined OUC 22 years ago last July. So this is actually her 20th service award, but because of COVID, we had a little bit of stall in the business and pause, and had an opportunity this August commission meeting to reward her with her 20-year service award. So I'd like to spend a moment or two talking about Lana and some of the things. So first of all, you started in July of 2000. You started with Mindy's group as an account specialist and then became a senior account specialist, right? That's pretty cool. And you came to OUC by your Aunt Pat, who worked for OUC in St. Cloud, who worked for Luz. Is Luz with us today? All right. So she has a familiarity with OUC, and her family does. What a great story, right? So her aunt told her out of school, you really need to come look at OUC. So she found an opportunity as an accountant, an opening, and worked for Mindy for approximately 8 years. Worked in the accounting side, worked with fuels, participant agreements, all those things, and then opportunity arose in the energy specialist over in Jan's area at the time, Claxton's area, and you took your ideas of fuels and accounting and decided you wanted to make a move and see what doors would open next. And we've been very gracious since. So with that being said, she has 2 children, Dylan, who's 21, who's a cybersecurity student at UCF, Zambito, that's a plug, and a daughter 18, Diana, that is now going to Valencia, but will be transferring to UCF and probably choosing a career path a little bit later, right? So that's pretty cool. Like I said, she worked for Claxton now, but worked for Mindy, and in her role now as an energy specialist, she primarily functions with natural gas trading. She loves it. She's told me how much she loves it. The cool thing she likes is it's very dynamic. As we know, today's fuel market is a little too dynamic in pricing. But she works with Bob on hedging. She works for the day ahead scheduling. She helps prepare all the ERMOC meeting minutes and notes and information for the ERMOC committee. And every month you get to see the fuels agenda for gas and coal, right? Well, here's the brains behind it, putting all the numbers together so that we can ask all the questions. And I just wanted to take a time, like I said, I was not going to embarrass her, but just wanted to thank her for her service of 22 years now in 1 month, and appreciate you for your loyalty, your support, and many more years to come.
Wait.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Now, at this time, if I can have your attention, sobering thought, I'd like to read a resolution of appreciation in honor of former Commission President Tommy Burrows. OUC Resolution of Appreciation. Whereas the Orlando Utilities Commission wishes to recognize and honor former OUC Board President Tommy Burrows, who passed away on July 15, 2022, at the age of 83. And whereas Mr. Burrows served on OUC's Board of Commissioners from January 2001 through December 2008 and was president from 2004 to 2005. And Whereas his board service marked significant events in OUC's history, including the commercial operations of Combined Cycle Unit A at Stanton Energy Center and the decision to design and build Combined Cycle Unit B at Stanton, both in partnership with Southern Company, and the opening of Reliable Plaza in 2008. Mr. Burroughs was also instrumental in securing a new general manager and CEO after the passing of Bob Haven, and he supported hurricane response operations and helped champion FEMA funding in the wake of the 3 storms that struck Central Florida in 2004. Additionally, he supported the coordination of the 20-year renewal of the consumptive water use permit in 2004 and advanced audit and finance committee policies in alignment with Sarbanes-Oxley compliance guidance. And whereas Mr. Burroughs was appointed by then Governor Jeb Bush to represent public electric utilities on the governor's 2005 Florida Energy Forum, which was tasked with evaluating Florida's energy supplies, generation, and security, as well as transmission, distribution, and conservation. And whereas he also provided his leadership to our industry as chairman of both the Florida Energy Commission from 2006 to 2008 and the American Public Power Association's Policymakers Council in 2008. And a year later, served on the state's Century Commission for Sustainable Florida. And whereas Mr. Burroughs deserves special recognition for his service to our country as a Marine Corps aviator from 62 to 1965, during which he served in Vietnam as a F-4 fighter bomber radar intercept officer. And whereas after his military service, he went on to earn a law degree and lead the Orlando law firm of Burroughs, Grimm, and Bennett as senior partner for 2 decades, and continued his law career as a senior partner at Holland and Knight, where he focused on energy law with an emphasis upon renewable and alternative energy. And whereas Mr. Burroughs gave his time and leadership to the Orlando community too. He was the founder of the Black-White Alliance, helped create the Veterans Court, and volunteered his legal expertise with the Guardian Ad Litem program in 2014, the Legal Aid Society of the Orange County Bar Association then presented him with the Valor Project Award of Excellence. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Orlando Utilities Commission extends its deepest appreciation to Thomas "Tommy" Burroughs for his contribution to OUC's Board of Commissioners, his service to his country, and his volunteerism in the Orlando community. Be it further resolved that the Orlando Utilities Commission and its employees extend sympathy to the family of Thomas "Tommy" Burroughs and decree that they be provided a copy of this signed resolution as a symbol of the gratitude and respect of this commission for Mr. Burroughs' outstanding service and leadership. In witness whereof, Commissioner President Britta Gross, Commissioners Larry Mills, Gregory D. Lee, Cesar Calvet, and Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, and General Manager and CEO Clint Bullock have all signed and dated this resolution on the 9th day of August, 2022. If you would, can we bow and have just a moment of silence in remembrance of Foreign Commissioner Tommy Burroughs? Thank you. At this time, Mr. Lamone Adams, I believe you're up. No, I'm sorry. Mr. Johnson, would you like to present? I have Johnson presenting the next community recognition. Corey.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Corey Johnson, and I am Supervisor of Meters Operations, and I'm also the Chair of the American Associations of Black in Energy, ABE. I'm proud to be one of the leaders of the Energy Academy. At OUC, we recognize that engaging young people is not only crucial to their success, but it's also crucial to the success of our company, especially as we begin to develop the workforce of the future. One way we do this is by partnering with Duke Energy and Siemens to host the annual Orlando Youth Energy Academy, which is in its 8th year here at Orlando, OUC. YEA is a statewide program hosted by the American Association of Blacks in Energy, ABE. But one of the good things about it is nationally recognized and now has moved outside of the state of Florida. We have 6 here, and now we have another one in Charlotte, North Carolina, that was modeled off of the program here in Orlando. This event exposes Orlando area middle and high school students to high skill, high wage careers in science, technology, energy, and engineering, math careers in the utility sectors, including engineering and science-related paths. On July the 8th, the 11th Annual Youth Energy Academy was held at Stanton Energy Center, where 80 students came by and visited us here. Thank you, Wade. I have to give a special shout out to Wade. He's been our partner one of the partners from the beginning. To participate in a high-level course in the production and distribution of electricity and water. The students' experience at Stanton marks YEA return to in-person learning after 2 years to face-to-face. I don't know about you guys, but I was tired of looking in the box. So it was good to see the kids' happy face out here. The purpose of YEA is to serve as a bridge from the classroom to careers by inspiring young minority students to study STEM courses in preparation to seek good paying jobs in our industry. That's why we do what we do. And one of the things I would like to success stories is some of the people that have attended is Aaron Jackson, which is an Olympic gold medalist. That was one of our YEA attendants. And Joe Shirley, and he's now in the engineering department. He came in as a lineman. He attended YEA. So we are affecting and trying to recruit these people. And Erin, look her up. She's fantastic. YEA also strives to show participation in job utilities that are far-ranging, from careers they may be more familiar with to some they may not be as familiar with, such as line technicians, customer service reps, to opportunities in legal, electrification, energy, water production, and environmental conservation, just to name a few. Most of these kids that come here, they only see OUC pull up to cut their power on or cut their power off, cut their water on. So they have no idea of all the different things that we do. So they get a chance to be exposed to that. 23 OUC employees contributed their time to this year's field trip by spending the afternoon sharing their professional experiences with the students. Now, before I turn this over to my co-chair of ABE, Ms. Queen Massillon, the community event coordinator, I would like to extend my appreciation to everyone here at OUC that has contributed their time or offered their support to the Youth Energy Academy of the Future. By you allowing your employees, by you allowing us, by your contributions, you are affecting these kids' lives, and I would like to thank you. Queen.
Thank you, Corey. It is a pleasure to be here with you today, President Gross, commissioners, and Clint, to tell you about how we engage the students in the recently concluded YEA program. We are very excited, as Corey mentioned, to welcome the Academy back to the Stanton Energy Center, where the participation in our program actually began. Our recent career exploration event drew middle, high school, and college students, most participating in youth groups located within Orange, Osceola, and Seminole counties. Now this year, we expanded our subject matter expert presentations to include conservation, water production, talent acquisition, and the empowerment zone. Our goal was to raise awareness of career opportunities in both the electric and water sectors, and based on the results of the final survey, we are proud to say that we did just that. OUC was ranked best hosting site by the attendees, and we could have not accomplished that without the support of OUC leadership and the many employees who participated in YEA. So with that being said, I would like to recognize the following: executive leadership team members, Lemoyne Adams, Wade Gillingham, and Janice Osani, for their support of this year and prior academies. Dwayne Campbell, Director of Solid Fuel and Generation, and his team, who led power plant tours. Dave Mayer, Supervisor of Sustainability, whose team demonstrated sustainable living features of the tiny green home. Brad Jewell, Director of Water Production, whose team provided an overview of water-related career fields at OUC. Val San Marco, Manager of Talent Acquisition, whose team talked about career opportunities at OUC. Alandis Sims, Community Partnership and Projects Manager, who gave an overview of the pre-apprenticeship program that OUC sponsors and our empowerment zone for the future initiative. Both are revitalization efforts targeting the 32805 zip code. Now, Alandis must have really made an impression on these kids, because 3 of the participants actually pre-register to enter into the pre-apprenticeship program. This is exciting because OUC is really helping to change the lives of the community that we serve. I would also like to thank the safety team for ensuring that we always make and keep safety first in everything that we do. And now I'd like to show you a short video of the event put together by Stephanie Cameron, Marketing and Communications Coordinator.
So the kids toured Stanton Energy Center today. Also, we had the Tiny Green Home, where we look at all of the different energy saving techniques, water saving techniques, and they got a chance to tour that. One of our newest partners was water production. They got a chance to see how water is treated, what we use to make our award-winning tasting water here at OUC, and our water production team gave them a display of what they do as chemists, another job opportunity they may have in the future.
Well, at Youth Energy Academy, I learned a lot, different things about energy and how everything works. I thought it was fun to tour the different parts of OUC.
It opens their eyes to things they don't know about, open their eyes to other avenues, and it will be a career, not a job.
To actually have OUC allow us to host this event is just so impactful to me. As a result of starting here, the Youth Energy Academy has moved out to other different states as well, so it's grown. So it's a great program.
Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, take them at this time, or if not, have a great one.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, well done.
Thank you.
All right, now you may stand, Mr. Adam, presenting our next community recognition.
Thank you very much. The 2022 APPA Line Workers Rodeo was held in Austin, Texas in March. And just like the state competition, this event allows line workers to showcase their essential skills with a focus on safety. OUC sent 2 3-member journeyman teams and 4 apprentices to nationals. The OUC contingent was one of 55 teams representing 47 utilities from 18 states. I am extremely pleased to report that two of our competitors, Matt Coakley and Evan Englert, brought home trophies. They are with us here today, so if you all can come to the front here and stand beside me. So Matt is a line technician 2, and Evan is a line technician 3. Matt took third place in the overall apprentice category, while Evan took first place in the 90-degree cross-arm relocation event. You may recall that Matt, he's a little bit of a show-off here. So back in February, Matt placed first in the overall apprentice event at the FMEA Rodeo in Fort Pierce. So hats off to Matt for scoring his second trophy in about a month in the overall competition. So at the National Rodeo event, Matt competed against 96 apprentices in 5 events and scored 492 out of a maximum of 500 points. Meanwhile, Evan topped a field of 58 competitors in the 90-degree cross-arm relocation event by finishing with the fastest time among those who also scored the maximum of 100 points. Matt and Evan's trophy haul marked OUC's best showing in the APPA rodeo since 2016. Additionally, Evan is believed to be the first OUC apprentice line technician to win a first-place trophy on the national level. So Matt and Evan, congratulations on your outstanding performances at the National Rodeo, and thank you for putting in the hard work that it takes to compete and win in this prestigious event. We also want to recognize a few others. OUC's rodeo team leader, Richard Bowley, lead line technician, for his part in preparing our team for the National Rodeo. Richard oversaw a rigorous training program that began in December of 2021. So thank you to Richard. He's not here today, but we do want to thank him for his leadership and dedication to OUC's rodeo team. Other members of the National Rodeo team are Zach Colgan, Holton Stow, Zach Rochester, Nelson Rodriguez, Austin Hulk, Billy Booknight, Mark Fisher, and Russ Osborne. So looking ahead to the International Lineman's Rodeo in Kansas City, Kansas, in October, we are planning to send Matt with hopes that he can also bring home another trophy. So thanks again, Matt and Evan, for your outstanding job in representing OUC. Thank you very much. Great. You want something here?
Matt, good luck at internationals. Come home safe, my friend. That's a great job. Great stuff. All right, Miss Linda Ferrone, would you like to present the final community recognition?
President Gross, Commissioners Clint, I am very pleased to share with you today that for the 2021-2022 school year, Orange County Public Schools Visual and Performing Arts Department has named OUC the 2022 Arts Partner of the Year. This is the first time that we have been honored with this recognition. The OCPS Visual and Performing Arts Partner of the Year Award is presented to a community partner who goes above and beyond to celebrate, recognize, and support arts education for all students. And here's some images here that you probably will find familiar. So OUC provides OCPS visual arts students with the opportunity to exhibit their work to be recognized for their efforts to develop the critical foundational skills that are essential for artistic expression. As a hometown utility supporting community partners like OCPS, it's just in our DNA. Now, for 16 years, OUC's Watercolor Project has engaged more than 27,000 students in a competition that features water conservation and Central Florida's beautiful natural environment through paintings on rain barrels and drawings on a calendar, which you can see here in these images. And I'm reminded of Terry's opening statements that it is healthy to draw and paint every day, is what she said. So we are encouraging this. The Watercolor Project is also an educational outreach effort designed to encourage water conservation through art. In addition to this program, OUC works round the year to educate our community on the importance of protecting such a precious and limited natural resource as water. Through water conservation themed events, campaigns, student projects, OUC is committed to helping our customers understand the vital role that water plays in everyday life and how they play a critical role, we all play a critical role in protecting it. We'd like to thank the amazing OCPS arts educators for their incredible work teaching students our water conservation message and participating OCPS students for their beautiful creations. Because of them, our calendar art and rain barrel painting program do continue to thrive. So thank you OCPS for this honor. We're proud to be named their 2022 Arts Partner of the Year. So here to say a few words are Scott Evans. I'll ask them to come up. Scott Evans, OCPS Senior Director for Visual and Performing Arts and Curriculum and Digital Learning, and Christy Garton, OCPS Resource Teacher, Visual and Arts K through 12.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. We are here to thank you, actually, and appreciate you guys. As you heard, I'm Scott Evans. I'm Senior Director for Visual and Performing Arts for Orange County Public Schools.
And I'm Christy Garton, Program Specialist, Visual Arts.
So every year we take a moment to celebrate an outstanding OCPS arts partner who helps us advocate for arts for every student while providing us a unique platform to showcase student artistry. Partnership recognized in the past include Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando, the Foundation for Orange County Public Schools, United Arts of Central Florida, and the Orlando Philharmonic, just to name a few.
This year, we are so pleased to be able to recognize Orlando Utilities Commission as a partner who truly demonstrates an appreciation for student artistry. The Orlando Utilities Commission provides OCPS visual arts students the opportunity to exhibit their work and to be recognized for their efforts to develop the critical foundational skills necessary for successful art making. In addition, the Orlando Utilities Commission provides students and their teachers with monetary awards, beautiful plaques, and a fabulous celebration that we definitely look forward to every year for the winners and their families.
The Orlando Utilities Commission demonstrates an understanding that the arts are an important vessel for the voices of our young people while educating them about the importance of preserving and conserving our most precious resources. It gives me great pleasure to recognize the Orlando Utilities Commission as the 2022 OCPS Arts Partner of the Year. Yeah.
Beautiful, thank you. Thank you, Scott and Christy. Thank you for joining us. And on behalf of OUC, we really are thrilled with this award. And it really is beautiful. It comes from an arts program, we can tell. It really is through the help of educators like you in Orange County Public Schools that we are influencing students to be advocates of water conservation. So we're honored to be held in such high esteem by Orange County Public Schools. And we look forward to this partnership, which has been so successful in the past, well into the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I believe you have another, Lynn? Sunrise? Yes.
I believe we have a couple of slides to show. So I am happy to say that for the fourth consecutive year, OUC has been recognized by the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, SACE, as a Sunriser, the nonprofit's designation for leading solar energy provider in the Southeast. We'll have some slides come up in a moment. OUC is one of only 7 utilities to earn the Sunriser distinction and is the top Sunriser in Florida in SACE's 2022 Solar in the Southeast report. If you can go to the next page. The report says Sunrisers exhibit the highest solar ambition as measured by the increase of watts per customer solar ratio from the base year of 2021 to the 4-year forecast of 2025. So you can see OUC there on the right. That is third in the Southeast and top in Florida. You can see this is a 4-year increase from 2021 to 2025. Again, solar watts per customer. As you know, we're expecting to add 2 74.5 megawatt solar farms, both located in Osceola County, to our solar portfolio no later than 2024. The new sites are included in our $420 million plan to boost solar energy generation. If you could go to the next slide. By 2025, we expect to increase utility scale solar capacity to 496 megawatts, which is enough to power just over 90,000 typical Florida homes, which you can see that kind of the middle of the column there, or the fourth down on the column there on the left. The SACE report showed OUC's solar watts per customer increasing by just over 1,300 watts per customer to reach just over 1,900 watts per customer by 2025, the most of any electric utility in Florida, which is why you can see us at the top of the column there on the right of the screen. Florida Power and Light, you might note, is projected to reach just over 1,400 solar watts per customer by then. So obviously, we're very pleased to continue to receive this recognition for our strong commitment to increasing our reliance on solar energy. You may recall that in the July board meeting, Sam Shea, our Director of Strategy and Planning, discussed our plans to partner with the U.S. Department of Energy's National Renewable Energy Lab on a floating solar feasibility study. We're very interested in expanding utility scale solar beyond the conventional land model because we have other ways to land solar here with all of our water and lakes in Florida. And today, Justin Kramer, Manager of Emerging Technologies, will be providing an update on our cloud tracking software we're developing to help solar become a very renewable energy source as well. And while solar may be the best renewable energy option for us right now, we continue to explore other innovative clean energy solutions. You're familiar with some of these we've talked about: hydrogen, flywheel technology, all of these in pursuit of us reaching our net zero energy emissions by 2050 with our interim goals of 50% and 75% carbon emissions reduction by 2040 respectively. So needless to say, we're honored to be recognized again by SACE as part of their independent report that documents current progress and trends by both utilities and state-level solar growth in the Southeast. We're excited to be a Sunriser for the 4th consecutive year. Thank you. If there's any questions?
No.
Nope. Thanks.
That's a great honor. Thank you. That concludes that portion. We'll now move to the affirmative items portion of the agenda. We have 17 on. Mr. Bullock, before we consider the affirmative actions, do we have affirmative items? That's the HR slippage. Do we have any requests from the public to speak on any affirmative items?
Not this time, Mr.
Okay. If not, Mr. Bullock, do you have any comments or presentations regarding the affirmative items at this time?
Great, thank you. Commissioner Mills, yes, I do have one item I would like to highlight for the board here today, and that's item 815. I'm going to ask Justin Kramer to come up to the podium. This is a very exciting project. I'm not going to repeat some of the things that Linda said, but no doubt our commitment to solar is real. We're in various stages of projects. And certainly one of the things that we talk about frequently here at the board is the intermittency that goes along with solar. That's the reality of it. But recognizing it's the most viable renewable option here for the state, we're certainly moving forward with it. One of the opportunities is to really try to optimize from an operational standpoint, how do we manage the intermittency? And this project that Justin's going to talk about, that's in partnership with UCF, is really trying to understand how we can leverage cloud information, leverage technology to understand cloud coverage. Because when we have a high level of clouds coming in, then the amount of solar generation goes down. And from an operation standpoint, our customers expect reliable and resilient power, no matter what. So it's a super exciting project. I'm going to step aside and let Justin talk to you more about it. But again, this goes right in line with our commitment of solar and how we're going to be advanced solar for our customers. So Justin, turn it over to you.
Thank you. President Gross, Commissioners, Clint. My name is Justin Kramer. I'm the Manager of Emerging Technologies and wanted to walk you through this project that we've been working on and looking to take to the next level. Can we go to the next slide? Sorry. Yeah, so we'll have to go to the next slide. So if we can go back to slide 2. Yeah, perfect. So last time I was here in May to talk to you guys about the battery project that we're doing out in St. Cloud, I showed you the same graph. And I'll make a commitment today that I'll bring a different graph next time, because we do have plenty of them. But again, we're talking about the solar intermittency that Clint was talking about. A couple just key points on that. Florida experiences 277 partly cloudy or cloudy days here in Central Florida. We are actually, I think, in the top 3 of partly cloudy states, which is almost the more concerning piece of the puzzle. If it's all cloudy, we're good to go. We can bring on generation assets. If it's all sunny, we're good to go. But that partly cloudy, where are the clouds? How are they moving? How do we deal with that? That piece of the puzzle is something that causes us some concerns from an operational standpoint. When cloud cover occurs, we need to be able to make those changes, get ahead of them. It takes time to dispatch different assets, and we also need to understand how to control the assets that we do have. Should the battery be charged? Should it be discharged? What are the kind of operational opportunities that we have for these technologies as we go on? So how do we have that situational awareness to know how to operate, what we should be planning for, and how we should be preparing properly at the end of the day? And so we are working on solutions that will help provide that, and this is one of them. Next slide. So on slide 3, you can see kind of where we started. We'll go back to there. We started by actually dispatching a bunch of weather stations all throughout our territory. So one of the things that we did is we've installed, I think we're up to 27 total weather stations throughout our territory at substations, at chilled water plants, and these are operational at this point. And those have been collecting really granular data for the past 3 years. Rainfall, humidity, temperature, even soil temperature and soil moisture, because soil temperature and soil moisture have effects on cloud development. And with this hyper-granular, hyper-localized data, we can actually start to look at what are those trends in our grid going forward. And so as we move to the next slide, slide 4, you can see here, right now, we operate on kind of a 1-hour time scale. And so that entire block in the top consideration is the 15-minute interval in an hour. As we go down into a 1-minute interval, you see that it starts to move even more on the solar side. And on a 10-second interval, it moves even more. So this is 1 hour of that day that we saw on the previous graph. And you can see how that time interval really matters at the end of the day. Right now, we do in a lot of operations on the 1-hour scale. Weather data, NREL, NOAA down the road at the airport, they do 15-minute interval. But you can see how even within that 15-minute interval, solar moves quite a bit at the end of the day. And so really understanding these movements and really understanding the information of what the solar is doing can help provide our operators the right opportunities on how to control the assets that we have moving forward. And so as we move to slide 5, so in slide 5, you'll see basically a map of all of the weather stations that we have throughout our territory. These are covering substations throughout our territory. And you can see even in the Harmony and Taylor Creek substations, These are where we have our two current 74.5 megawatt arrays. You can see that they actually move a pretty significant amount and not always at the same time. So again, that localized consideration, understanding what's happening, these two arrays aren't that far apart from each other in all reality, but they still have pretty significant output considerations. And so we need to understand what's happening there and then how that aggregates to affect our grid more holistically as we move forward. So again, it's how do we give that information to our operators? So as we move to slide 6, so we have the weather data. We have a really good understanding of what weather is doing as far as the actual sensors can tell us, but we're still missing a lot of critical information. And that's really about the clouds themselves. How high are the clouds? What types of clouds are they? Where are they moving? What are kind of those considerations at the end of the day that we can use to look at and to provide that additional information? Conversations that we've had with Wade and his team about how rain versus clouds have completely different impacts on the load side, and then just how clouds impact the generation side for solar and considerations. Some clouds can actually increase generation of solar through reflection, and then cloud, which causes spikes and dips and valleys. So understanding the type of cloud, where it's moving, how it's impacting, that's really going to be important for us and our operators moving forward. So we started on this prototype of the SIMS, the Cloud Impact Mapping System. SkyCam was taken. That was our first iteration. If you ever watch a Pro Bowl game or any type of NFL game, the camera in the middle that zings around the entire game, that's apparently a SkyCam. So we lost that. But so we switched to SIMS, and now we're moving forward. As we go to slide 7, this is basically the makeup of the SIMS solution. It's a fisheye camera that looks up at the sky. We then embed a processor that takes that data and processes it into something that we can analyze. And then we package that all for basically weather considerations to make sure that we can keep everything operating in reliable consideration. As we move to slide 8. So how does this work? So what we do is we take this fisheye view of the sky, and we basically take a box. Basically everything outside of that box is too distorted to have any value for processing. So we can take what's in the box and flatten that, and then use that as the usable image. As we move to slide 9, you'll see the second step is to actually blot out the sun. The sun is not a cloud, so we want to make sure that we don't treat it as one. So we actually digitally remove that piece of the puzzle. And then we have an opportunity to take a look at what all the clouds are in that space. So as we move to slide 10. Now, whoever's operating, I need a little bit of help here. Can you just flip back and forth between 10 and 11? See how it slightly moves? What we can actually do is we can trace those pixels and know which way the clouds are moving. So using the data coming out of the weather station, I can tell you how high that cloud is. Through the imagery, I can tell you what kind of cloud it is. And now I can tell you which way it's moving and how fast. So that basically gives us this vector field on the left by using all of these super fancy computer programming algorithms and development pieces. And as we move to slide 12, you can see kind of the final result of those three. We have the clouds that have been identified, and then little green arrows that show basically the reflection of those vectors and which way it's moving and kind of how fast that is. With that information, we can then take that, and let's move to slide 13. Sorry, go back to slide 12 real quick. I apologize. We can actually take that and overlay that onto a map of our territory. And we can geolocate that with the actual map and show not only the cloud cover, but also the shadows that would be coming from those clouds, because we know the height, we know where the sun is, we know how they're casting shadows. And we can look and see where the clouds are moving and actually start to forecast out how long it'll take them to get to the next solar array, because we know where every solar array is that's customer owned and utility owned, and we know how large they are. We can start to actually forecast what that generation impact will look like. So as we move to slide 13. So for the past couple years, we've been working with students at UCF through their senior design project. So very funding, basically research at a very low level. We were able to do a proof of concept, which is where we are now. But now we want to take this and actually make it something that's truly reliable enough that our operators can use in a day in and day out situation. So how do we take that and basically advance the technology to the next level? And so what we're going to do is we're going to work with professors at UCF to start adding that functionality and the robustness to the technology as we move forward. So ensuring the reliable output, basically using what we can use it as an operational asset as well. So we can use it on our operations side for dispatching our traditional generation assets. We can also use it for distributed energy assets, like our grid integration laboratory at Gardenia, it'll be integrated into that for a control purpose so that we know how to operate smaller portions of the grid as well. So there's a couple different operation considerations with that, as well as building automation solutions. If you've ever noticed when it rains, air conditioning systems get very cold in buildings because of that. You know, they get just much more efficient. You can feel that actual cold if you notice once it starts raining, the temperature drops. We can actually add to thermal comfort of customers as well. So there's a lot of different use cases that we can build on top of this. As we move to slide 14, so the UCF partnership, UCF has a lot of good credentials in the deep learning and machine vision, cyber vision considerations, and also artificial intelligence. We are going to have a team that is led by a computer engineering professor with a couple of grad students that is working on this for the next 2 years. And basically, it'll be developing some intellectual property considerations for us, and we'll be able to maintain those intellectual property considerations for this product. And this could be not just an opportunity for OUC specifically, but we could also share it with some of our partners and see other kind of future possibilities with it as we move to slide 15. Sorry. And so today I'm here to ask for commission approval for the PO to UCF for a total of $326,889.49. Any questions, comments?
No, that's a great takeaway that we retain the intellectual property rights.
Yes, we are making sure we're working with all the legal funness to make sure that we maintain all those different pieces, because it really is a tool that's an opportunity for OUC, for our operations, but I think for a lot of other operations as well. And we want to make sure we have that opportunity moving forward.
Super. Thank you.
Well done. Very, very fascinating program, for sure.
Amazing how much difficulty in just keeping every bit of sun. I mean,
it's really important for us to really understand this, because for us to balance everything, I mean, our entire lives as utility folks is balancing load and generation at the end of the day. And being able to give our operators and being able to give the kind of functional support for that to them is something that'll really help us not only keep reliability, but also cost controlled.
You know, 277 days.
Yeah, and that's
So, in London, England, I mean, Orlando, Florida, I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. In the top five, oh, sorry, go ahead, Ms. Bush.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, if you can hear me, I just wanted to add my 2 cents in here. This is a fabulous project. I mean, I happen to be sitting here at a seminar, a summer seminar, put on that hosts, hundreds of utilities, electrical utilities around the United States. And for 2 days, we've almost only been talking about reliability and resilience of the grid as we go more renewable. So, what Justin and team and Linda are working on is just incredibly important. And the fact that OUC can retain, as you said, Commissioner, about the intellectual property rights is so important. It feels to me that this is very market leading. I could imagine that the U.S. DOE Solar Office and others are going to be very, very interested in this kind of level of data. So my kudos to OUC for having the foresight even years ago to establish those weather stations that we've been talking about for a while, and then gathering all this data and then taking that to the next step on forecasting cloud patterns and what it's going to mean to our solar. So really well done.
Super. The President has spoken. There's nothing else needs to be said.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Jess.
Commissioner Mills, I don't have any further items to highlight here today, unless there's any questions by the committee.
Well, before we vote, are there any members of the public that have not already spoken or signed up who'd like to address the commission on affirmative items? Seeing none. Before we vote, are there any comments beyond what we've already said from the commissioners? All right. Well, is there a motion to approve affirmative items A1 through A17?
So move.
We have a motion from Commissioner Calvet. We have a second from Commissioner Lee. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? None. Motion passes. All right, we're moving into new business. Mr. Bullock, do we have any comments or presentations on new business items at this time?
There are no changes to the budget workshop presentation that was done in July. So no electric, base, or water changes are included, just the proposed budget. So no changes.
Okay. Well, before we vote on new business item number 1, are there any comments or questions from the commissioners that deals with the operating budget and the capital plan?
No, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Groves?
I beg your pardon, I'm sorry.
Do you have any comments or questions on the operating budget or capital plan before we vote?
I do not. Thank you for asking. I do not.
All right. Well, if there are no other comments or questions, may I have a motion to adopt the proposed operating budget and accept the 2023 through 2027 capital plan?
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved by Commissioner Lee and second by Commissioner Calvet. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? None. Motion passes. All right. Ms. Brene, will you now come and present the financial report?
Good afternoon, Commissioners, President Gross, Clint. My report is not as exciting, and we do not color in between the lines. So really feels kind of flat compared to most of the reports today. But we here have in front of you the July 2022 financial results. They are preliminary. We are still working to close the month. On the top line, you can see electric revenue is in line with budget, but that is because we've taken some action to earmark about $25 million between retail and resale revenues in advance of helping the customers into the future. So we're earmarking those for a regulatory action that we'll be bringing forward at a later date. Offsetting that, you can see that unit department or total expenses are slightly under budget, which leads us to a net income slightly favorable of $2.2 million. We are coming into the storm season, so we know we have some volatility. The cloudy weather changes, the weather forecast that we've had over the last several months, very warm, strong customer growth, and we continue to see that moving forward. We do continue to battle the high costs of fuel, and you can see the footnote that right now we have advanced the customers a little less than $42 million from a reserve perspective. So I don't have any other things to share with you at this time, but I'm happy to entertain any questions. No? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brown or Chris, do we have any legal issues to report?
None at this time.
Super. Love to hear that. All right. Well, under general appearances at this time, I have two members of the public that have requested to address the board. I'm not sure if we have any more, just those two. Okay. Let me remind the members of the public that will speak to us, you should state your name and whether you are an OUC customer. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less, and commissioners will take your comments under advisement. We'll direct any follow-up questions to our officers or staff, and an OUC representative will contact you with a response to your question once we have verified your response is correct. Our first speaker is Jonathan Blunt, and would you please come forward, sir?
That's blunt as in count as opposed to blunt as in runt. Good afternoon, everyone. It is an absolute pleasure and honor to be here with you again. I am an absolute proud OUC customer. I save a lot of money on buying bottled water because I trust the OUC water supply because I know what happens to make it pure. Since my last appearance here, I have had some life milestones that I have overcome. First and foremost, in mid-2021, I was looking at some city-owned vacant properties on my bicycle to try to buy them, and I went into a lot in Paramore, and at the back of the lot, there was a homeless neighbor who had built a little something back there, and I went to investigate what was on the lot, and all of a sudden 5 pit bulls came out, and they attacked me. And I was fighting them off of the bicycle till one of them bit through the rim of the front of the bicycle. And while I was fighting that one off, another one came and knocked me to the ground with such force that it fractured my vertebrae. And I spent 34 days in rehabilitation because I was immobilized. And only God can console me in knowing why those pit bulls, after I was totally disabled, didn't go in for the kill. It was a miracle. And then following that, I was working one day, and suddenly I got these pains in my chest one morning. And they kind of went on and off and off and on, and I ignored them for a while. And finally, I went and I said, listen, guys, either I'm having another bout of pericarditis or indigestion or a heart attack. And as it happened, the supervising officer at that time said, well, Jonathan, before I got into this business, I was a firefighter for 20 years. He says, and at your age, I would advise you to go to the hospital right now. Now, we can take you over there. You can walk over there because the hospital happened to be next door. Or we can call you an ambulance, and I prefer to do it that way because that way they'll move you right in. So they took me into the ER, and the next thing I know, I'm in the ambulance, and the lights are flashing, and they're blocking off the streets, and they rush me in. And one of my arteries was 100% blocked. The other was 99% blocked. And the doctor, the interventional cardiologist said I've had about an hour and 20 minutes to live. So they extracted the plaque from the arteries, opened them up. I now have 4 stents, and I have a cocktail of drugs that I must take now every day for the rest of my life. But all is not bad news. Just last week, the North Carolina African American Heritage Commission established a trail marker to me and several others who, in 1961, we stood down the Ku Klux Klan, thousands of whom tried to kill us because we wanted to integrate the swimming pool. And the only reason that I'm alive today is because we had guns to defend ourselves. And that's collected in a book called Negroes with Guns. And I just sent a copy of this to Denise, so it will be available for your information. I just want to invite all of you. I'm back in community action and community service. So this Sunday at the Lawn Plaza here at Dr. Phillips, we're celebrating a Caribbean American Heritage Festival. It's free. It starts at 1 to 9. Music, food, all of the enjoyment of the Caribbean, and please, we invite you to come out and celebrate with us. And then on Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating the Orlando Urban Film Festival, where we showcase all of the minority film stars, and we will send you information and invite you all to participate and join us. And again, I thank OUC for being such an incredible partner in every conceivable way in the community, and thank you again.
Thank you, sir. And an awesome story to report. Okay. We have last name, it looks like Mabaraba? Yes. Okay.
Well, good afternoon, Commissioners, Chair Groves, and Mr. Bullock. Thank you for having me here. Long time no see. Most of you know me by now. My name is Raquel Fernandez Makarov, and I am an OUC residential customer at 8558 Pomelo Tree Lane, Orlando, Florida 32836. I am the Sierra Club Beyond Coal lead organizer and a member of the First 50 Coalition. Right at the 5th anniversary of Mayor Dyer's and the City of Orlando's unanimous commitment to 100% renewable energy, the U.S. Senate approved a bill that allots $3 billion for environmental and climate justice block grants. The Clean Energy Tax Credit, the key driver of decarbonization and lower consumer energy costs in the IRA, is the long-term extension and expansion of clean electricity tax credits. Clean energy tax credits are an essential part of the budget reconciliation legislation in this Congress. The bill extends the current federal investment and production tax credits, ITC and PTC, for solar and wind energy until 2025, and establishes a new technology-neutral ITC and PTC for all zero-carbon electricity generation technologies from 2025 to 2032. Larger credits are available for projects that meet certain labor and domestic content requirements to ensure support for high-quality American jobs and for projects that are located in low-income communities and communities historically dependent upon fossil fuel jobs. Provisions. The bill also includes a direct pay option for nonprofit and government entities and an option to transfer credits to a third party, key reforms that make these critical tax incentives more accessible. The IRA also extends the 25D tax credit for residential rooftop solar. This is a great opportunity for OUC to make a complete shift towards renewable energy as we see roaring prices on frac methane gas. This incentive will also help promote well-paid technical jobs, which are needed now more than ever due to the increased cost of living, and incentivizes our local utility to increase their energy efficiency to at least 1% by investing in those communities mostly impacted by energy burden. OUC should not leave money on the table and improve the lives of Orlando's most vulnerable. They should drop their plan of converting Unit 2 into frac gas and make the now possible effort to transition straight into renewable energy and increase their energy efficiency commitment. I also urge OUC to update the cost consumptions for clean energy that was made in the 2020 IRP and update the cost of gas and compare. Thank you so much for having me here.
We'll now then move forward with our general manager's comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Mills. I do have a couple items I would like to share with the board today. The first one, I'm going to ask Linda to come up yet again to talk about a program, and Mindy hit on it a little bit earlier in the budget. Certainly, we're seeing higher fuel costs. We've talked about that a couple times. That is impacting our customers and their bills. But, we've taken an approach to try to lean in and support our customers. And so Lynn's going to talk to you about a program that we have in place, but also talk about the enhancement that we're doing to the program to try to assist with our customers that are working through trying to pay some bills at this time. So Linda?
President Gross, Commissioners, Clint. With hotter than usual temperatures this summer, many of our customers are seeing higher energy bills. It's due to increases in their usage, which is, of course, typical for this time of year, but it's also caused by the dramatic increases that we've seen in the cost of fuel for power generations. So, Commissioners, as you know, we don't profit from fuel cost increases because fuel is merely passed through. We pay what we pay is passed on to our customers. And when prices come down, we'll pass those lower costs along too. However, with prices rising for many products and services, we know that our customers are feeling the strain. So we are here to help. Typically, OUC allocates $180,000 a year through Project CARE. It's our utility assistance program. So in June, we saw an 83% increase in applications over May. $30,000 additional was required as compared to $14,000 in May. So at $314,000 per household of financial assistance is what's being requested on average. I'm pleased to tell you that we're expanding Project CARE by an additional $100,000 through the end of our fiscal year through September. So that's a 55% increase to $280,000. This is the reason why OUC has Project CARE, to help families get through these really difficult times. It's very reminiscent of what we did during the COVID pandemic when we were impacted so severely 2 years ago. So as a hometown utility for nearly a century, we are here for our customers and we do want to help them. Our program's managed by the Heart of Florida United Way's 211 program. They provide rapid response to our customers through a dedicated case manager. I know you all have heard much about that. So for every $1 donated by our employees and our customers, OUC contributes $2. Our customers are able to give through their monthly bill, and our employees are able to have this option through our annual giving campaign. They have that through their given through a deduction on their paycheck. So since 1994, Project CARE has assisted 25,000 households. In addition to this program, of course, we offer other things you're familiar with, payment plans, payment arrangements, along with our PowerPass prepaid program. We really are committed to helping our customers keep their utility bills low and not get in debt. Over the past 6 months, through our Ways to Save campaign, we've communicated with customers how they can reduce their usage, make energy and water efficiency changes. They're able to get free energy efficiency home and business audits, and through those, they can figure out what low-cost measures they can take part in. Depending on a customer's income, we may even be able to share some of the cost of those energy efficiency programs. We'll continue to monitor the need for financial assistance and ensure funds are available for our customers. So being the reliable one to us really means a lot more than just keeping the lights on and the water flowing, and I shouldn't have just said just, because that is a lot. It also means a commitment to being community partners so our customers can count on us to get them through these tough times. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. I'd like to share just one other update with the board. I think it's no secret we've talked quite a bit about vehicle electrification. We talked about our commitment in the strategic plan, the $45 million commitment. You've heard a variety of different programs that OUC is doing, and I continue to assure you that we are working to take a lead on electrification of vehicles. We're not just sitting back, but we recognize that we have to think beyond just Orlando, quite honestly. This, having policies, having infrastructure is really a Florida focus to help all of our customers throughout the state of Florida. Again, if we were just focused on Orlando, how do we help our customers that want to go to Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Miami, et cetera? We were asked to participate in the Florida Municipal Electric Association annual conference. That happens again every year. President Gross had the opportunity to address a conference last year on a very similar subject of electrification. But there was a panel discussion that was put together this year. I was asked to be a participant. We also had the chairman of the Public Service Commission, Andrew Fay, participate on that. And then we had a member of SACE. You heard Linda talk about SACE. But we had Dory Larson, who's a member of SACE, and also Drive Electric Florida. And we were on a panel for an hour talking about policy, talking about programs, talking about the challenges that we have as a state and how we can continue to progress. Again, we share this because we're certainly leaders in the state for electrification. We recognize that we have to, again, look beyond Orlando, and we've been doing that for many years as we've partnered with FMEA. We've had roundtable discussions through I'm now the president of FCG. We're working with all the utilities in the state, not just the municipal utilities. We're working with the investor-owned and the co-ops to continue to do this. FMEA, as you know, has been in place since the early 40s. They're involved with policy here in the state of Florida. They represent 33 municipals throughout the state of Florida, which represents over 5,000 employees throughout all of our different utilities here. As you know, we're the second largest municipal in the state of Florida. As a part of that, at the annual conference, I was asked to be a part of the executive board, to be a vice president on the executive board for FMEA. So again, recognizing the importance of all that we are going through as a state from a utility standpoint, and recognizing being the second largest utility, municipal utility in the state, we felt it was important to show our leadership and support of FMEA. Again, FMEA does just policy. They help support mutual aid. They have a significant role in mutual aid, alignments competition that you heard one talk about earlier, and a variety of other policy type items. So again, just wanted to share that with the board. We're going to continue our commitment to electrification in a variety of different formats, as our underlying goal is to reduce CO2 emissions. Here in our community, there's a lot of different ways of doing it. And we recognize that electrification of vehicles is one of those important elements. So if there are any questions for me, I'll take them. Otherwise, that's my report here today for you, Commissioners.
I'd just like to make a comment. Sure. Just came back from Captive Island and put the GPS and said, bring me back to Orlando. Well, I saw parts of Florida I've never been to. I went to LaBelle, I went on the side of Okeechobee, and then put me in the city of Okeechobee, put me on Highway 60 and all that. There was nothing there to charge an electric vehicle. Okay, and that's the way your GPS did. You know, it brought me 4.5 hours. But, you know, the issue there is that very, very different.
Yes.
You know, so in Captiva, there's one, I think, at Jerry Supermarket, you know, went ahead and installed one charger, okay, and then for the whole, you know, Sunnyvale and, you know, Captiva. So it's the thing, it's a big issue.
It is a big issue, and again, we have to recognize it's bigger than Orlando, and I think we recognized that a couple of years ago. While we're trying to put policies in place, customers want to go and travel throughout the state. And so we're working with all the utilities in the state, not just municipals, but the investor-owned. And I think that one of the things that I, you know, shared with the municipals that were in the room is, you know, you're seeing significant focus around this. You're seeing the auto manufacturers have moved, right? A few years ago, they hadn't quite moved. You couldn't tell which way they were going. That is very clear. Auto manufacturers are moving this direction. You are seeing more and more cars, and you will see more and more cars available. You're seeing the federal government respond. So you're seeing dollars in these bills that have been discussed. And you're seeing ESG for commercial businesses that want to perform. So the commercial fleet side is about to take off in a very fast way. And our point is you better start working with your large commercial customers. You better start understanding what they're doing with their fleet, because they have the opportunity to go after some of these dollars too. When you look at the economics, it's there. You know, even during these challenging, you know, times of high cost of gas, the economics do work. So you're seeing fleet go there. Consumers are going to go there as they have more product options at different price points. So the encouragement is for all the utilities in the state to really get around it, start looking at your policies, you know, start working with your permitting agencies to your cities and counties, start building your mobility facility and work out the kinks on the first one, because as a utility industry, we're going to have to start moving a lot quicker because it is coming.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, at this point, starting with Commissioner Gross, we'll ask for commissioner comments. Any comments that you'd like to leave?
Well, thank you. Yeah, Commissioner Mills, first of all, you all know that I'm grinning ear to ear with that last conversation. And I didn't even have to be there to have that conversation. It's wonderful that everyone is really understanding now how important, mobility is. When these cars have to move around, they got to have charging infrastructure. And Commissioner Caldat, I shared your exact same experience not 2 months ago on the islands of Captiva and Sanibel myself, and was very frustrated. And I do know that the Chamber of Commerce down there is now working on that problem, and I think by the end of the year it should look a lot better. But that is exactly the experience that EV drivers have today. Let me just go on and say, again, back to the weather stations and the cloud cover work that we're doing. I think it sounds like it's state of the art. I'm not so knowledgeable about exactly what's available, what's not, but it sure sounds really, really important. So I'm hoping that, we spend the time needed to get final reports out there, share the data if needed, and really try to help drive the industry to understand, what does cloud cover mean to a state like Florida, and maybe even informing other states like Arizona and California, et cetera. Congratulations, Clint, on your new role at FMEA. I think that's wonderful. Congratulations to the organization on the 4 years in a row, Linda, on the Safe Sunriser Award. I think that's just a wonderful recognition of just what we're doing, especially for a smaller sized utility, right? We're not one of the biggest, and yet for our size, we're doing really very, very important things. And then I think I'll just leave with thank you, Commissioner Mills, for stepping in on this very, very important occasion. I'm very sorry to have missed this meeting in person, but thank you so much. You did a great job. We're going to get off in record time, which means you run a very efficient meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner.
Well, first started by the passing of Tommy Barroso. Like I said, I knew Tommy and served with him in all the capacities, I knew him well. So like I said, I was sad. I mean, once you met Tommy with his personality, he made an impression. And I didn't know he was so involved in the power sector until I read the obituary, the newspaper, and then all the stuff, additional material you provided. So, like I said, sad by that. And you know, we've had the last, I think, 2 meetings, or 2 of the last 3 meetings, which we have lost.
Yeah.
Is the second, you know, member of our commission, the second chair, you know, so very sad. Outstanding on the alignment recognition, and, you know, like I have said before, the time they put me in that bucket truck, and it was, like I said, it was a little bit windy. I mean, not, it was still, you know, no violation of any rule, but that thing was swinging. You know, it's a good thing I was belted well up there. So, I mean, what they do is amazing, and, you know, it shows our expertise, and that comes when we really having the problems, and that's you know, outstanding on their part. Again, I said it before, but 277 cloudy days. I mean, that is, that's, you know, never thought that would be so great presentation by Justin there, and, you know, on really, that would, you know, we'll continue to lead efforts, and we'll continue to try to deal with the solar, you know, and again, as always, a good meeting.
Commissioner?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I agree with the comments from President Gross and Commissioner Calvet. It's nice, it's always nice the way that we celebrate our service awards and our awards that we've received. And we take the time to, you know, to appreciate, you know, that. And I think it's unique and special, and shows you what a unique and special utility we are. I agree that the presentations were very good. The cloud camera and the intellectual property being created, really fascinating, and just a you know, a real neat program for OUC. And it was a great meeting. So thank you guys again for your professionalism and you know, sharing all the exciting things that you've got going on with us.
Thank you. Well, let me echo what has been said. I was really impressed with the range of community recognition, all the way from your assignment, all the way down to the UCF partnership and some of the things that we're doing. Love the technology and where we're headed with the intellectual property right on the imaging cloud system. And overall, you know, we're doing all the things right, leading in our area, and you guys are doing an awesome job. So I commend you all and thank you all. It was a great meeting because you're doing a great job. And it becomes very easy to chair something like this with so many great and effective is the key word that I would say from what we heard today. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Having had all commissioner thoughts without objection, this meeting then is adjourned at 3:22 p.m.